Welcome to the Rotary Club of Jonesboro, 5-time reigning Club of the Year. Our inspirational moment by Margaret Mead, an American cultural anthropologist. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Now to our program. Dana Kennedy will make the introduction. Dana.
Good afternoon. Gary and I had the pleasure to meet Captain Teri and Captain Charles Smith with the Salvation Army this past July when we took the toothbrushes, and we both just walked away and felt these are just two of the neatest people we have ever met. And we've got half of the team today, and I think Captain Charles will tell you where Captain Teri is here in just a little bit. But they come to us from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Captain Charles is a combat veteran, having served during Operation Desert Storm. He was in the U.S. Army for 8 years. He is a fifth-generation minister. He is a published author and has had several articles published in religious magazines and newspapers in London, Canada, and in the United States. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Captain Teri just because she's part of the team, even though she's not here. She is also an ordained minister. She's working on her master's degree in theology. They've been married for 25 years and have 2 children. Theirs is truly a family affair with the Salvation Army because their son Clay is in Ardmore, Oklahoma with the Salvation Army, and their daughter Abigail works for the Salvation Army of Hot Springs. Their driver and what makes them do what they do is their faith and their desire to spread their faith. So please welcome Captain Charles Smith. Thank you.
I'll pull up here. As I've given out some of these today, these are our stats from last year. I know several of our board members that are here, Al Poston, Brother Wayne Wiggins, they already have seen these. They've probably got quite a collection of these at their own homes. But if you want to take a look at that, this is what the Army did last year, and that was before we got here. My wife and I, we've been here about 12 weeks now. We got here on June 21st, and we began working directly with the Army here. I want to read a couple of quotes for you, if that's okay for you this morning, and I'll tell you where she's at in a second. She's not here. Of course, she is, I'll go ahead and say this. She's been deployed for disaster. She's in Gonzales, Louisiana. I'll probably mispronounce that, but she's down there for 2 weeks. She left this last Friday to go down there with a team of about 12 to 14 officers that are down there serving the community down there in that area. I don't know all the damages. I don't know everything. I haven't talked to her because she's busy, but I plan on talking to her tonight, and hopefully she calls me. So we'll see. But she left me behind with our dog Buddy, so I have that responsibility to take care of him while she's gone. But I want you to think about something about the Salvation Army just for a minute. Think about this. Wherever good can overcome, that is where your Salvation Army goes. And isn't that what the founder, William Booth, meant when he said, while women weep as they do now, I'll fight. While children go hungry as they do now, I'll fight. While men go to prison in and out as they do now, I'll fight. While there's a poor lost girl up on the streets, while there remains one dark soul without the light of God, I'll fight. I'll fight to the very end. And of course, Jesus, he was the first one that did the most good, wasn't he? He was the first one that did the most good. And the Bible confirms this because in Acts 10:38, it reminds us God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him. So can we say that the Lord is with us right here in Craighead County, the city of churches? That's what we came to know before we even got here, is what was Jonesboro really well known about? One is their faith. You guys have got great faith, I hope. I hope each and every one of you do. But this is the city of churches. And I appreciate all the ministers I've been allowed to meet so far. I want to meet all of them. I know there's a lot of churches, so I got to get busy with that, don't I? But we are here to make a difference. And it's not us making the difference. It's what's in us that makes a difference. And he's not far from any one of us, is he? For in him, we live, we move, and have our being. And we need him today. We need him today more than ever before. Not because of the pandemic, not because of problems, not because of other things and other issues, but we need him. We need him to help us to do the things that we need to do while here in Craighead County. And we don't only service Craighead County, we service 4 other counties as well: Greene, Poinsett, Mississippi, and Jackson. But just to let you know, in case you don't know this, the Salvation Army began in the East End of London on July 2nd, 1865, under the direction of William and Catherine Booth. They, along with their band of men and women and boys and girls, preached and sang the gospel while serving the last, the lost, and the least. Then the Salvation Army came to North America in 1880, and it was in March of 1901 that the Salvation Army opened fire, or began, here in Jonesboro, Arkansas, under the leadership of Captain Fred Andrus and the Captains Hughes. So for 120 years, the Salvation Army has been here in Craighead County, serving those, helping those. And again, those stats that are in front of you is what happened last year. Now this year, I hope and pray that those stats kind of go down a little bit, don't you? I mean, I want to help people, sure, but I want to be able to help them to not be a hand out, but to be a hand up, to help those in this community, whether it's through our social services. And I'm sure Al and Wayne can both vouch and tell you what all we do in our social services. We help with utility services, rent when funds are available, emergency food baskets, of course, emergency disaster services. I heard what you guys had done with the Salvation Army last year during the snowstorm. When was that? Was that January of this year? January? And it seemed like the city came together to help those that were misplaced, that were homeless, those that had no place to go and needed help. And last night, we had 4 ladies and 10 men that stayed with us last night. We also serve evening meals. We also have our core programs, Wednesdays and Sundays. We have camp during the summer. Of course, we didn't this last summer because of COVID. We have character building programs for children, and we have prayer meetings. And you may ask today, well, Captain Smith, why are you here? What do you want to accomplish? How can we help you? And that's some good questions, isn't it? Those are questions that it shows us accountability. It shows us responsibility. And we are accountable for our actions. We are responsible with what we do and how we do things. But what I'm going to ask of you is that, first of all, you pray for us. Pray. Pray. Pray for my wife as she's deployed down there in the South, in Louisiana. Pray for those. Did you know that there's another storm front coming through? Pray for her. Pray for her team. James reminds us we have not because we ask not. And the only way that we can be successful in anything that we do or say is by prayer. The poet Tennyson reminds us, more things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. What are your dreams this morning? What do you dream about? I dream of a world where there's no poverty. But I know that's not going to happen, is it? Because Jesus said the poor you will always have with you. But what kind of dreams do you have today? What kind of dreams make you alive and make you feel like you're accomplishing something for the greater good? What do your dreams consist of? Not only about yourself, but about your children, your families, your neighbors. What do you dream of? I dream of the Salvation Army growing and going, not just growing, but going more into our communities to make a difference in people's lives, to do what we are called to do. And currently, we're having a mission planning study taking place, and some of you probably have heard about it, with Arthur Alley out of Jackson, Mississippi, and they're helping us to learn what we need to do, why we need to do it, and how we can meet those needs here in our community. But not only pray, we need participation. We need participants. You can volunteer by giving to the Red Kettle, by having a food drive, volunteer by ringing the bell. I'm sure some of you guys have done that. I'm not going to ring this, but praying, participating, helping us. And you can do that with with Captain Teri when she gets back with the Angel Tree Warehouse. Angel Tree applications, we're going to start those on October the 12th. That's what's on our calendar. But we have also begun receiving our contract agreements with local department and grocery stores to stand Christmas kettles. So we know that on November 8th, we're going to be allowed to ring at Hobby Lobby. November 25th, Kroger, and November 26th, Walgreens, and others I haven't heard yet about, but you guys can participate in that way. And you can also sign up. There's a sign-up website called registertoring.com, and you can go to that, and you can actually sign up. It'll kick me an email and let me know where you want to be at, what times you want to be there, how many people are going to be ringing with you, and we'll provide the necessary things that you need to ring that bell. But does anyone have any questions? Anyone got any questions this morning? Yes. No, it was shut down 3 years ago before we even got here. And that's the other thing that we're trying to figure out is with this mission planning study is if we do that, if we reopen it, where can we open it? Because the city is going to close that street, close what, at the end of the street? So it would not be a good placement for our store to be there. So, that's a good question. Thank you. Any others? Yes. I'm actually going to give out my cards today, which has my cell phone, my email, and our office number, and you can contact me by any of those ways. But I will give you guys a card, and it does have my wife's name and email and cell phone number on it as well. Any others? Any other questions? Yes. Our biggest fundraiser is the Christmas kettles. That's our biggest fundraiser. I know that some core, like when we were in Muskogee, the advisory board would hold not only the kettles, but they would also have a Christmas concert with the Swan Brothers. So it just depends on the board and also, what else we can do during the year. So, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hold on.
He's going to bring you a microphone.
This help break.
So what is the capacity for your overnight people who stay, and what are the rules that you have for them?
I should have brought out a printout, shouldn't I? So I'll tell you this, we do have the room for 12 men, 4 ladies, and a family of 4. And that, of course, with the ladies, the room with the 4 ladies is separate. They have their own separate restroom and shower facilities compared to like the single family. They can have a family up to 4. The way our building is laid out and structured, it's all on one side, and then the men is more like a dormitory style, but we can house up to 12 men at a time. We had 10 last night, so we weren't at capacity, but of course, you know of anybody that does not have a place to stay, somebody that's struggling, they can come and see us. We do open the doors at 4 p.m. and they can check in, and they'll have a nice hot meal. They can take a hot shower, and they got clean linen to lay down on. So we always provide that. And the rules per se, the thing is, and this is what Teri and I take into consideration. And I'll tell you this, me and her were at one time homeless. Okay, it wasn't our choice. It was something that happened because of some poor decisions of other people. And we were paying to rent, or not rent, but paying to own a home in Van Buren, Arkansas. And the people that owned the property didn't own the house. So they were in dispute and we didn't know it. And so we became homeless, and we were homeless for about 6 months. So we stayed with Teri's sister and her husband and their kids, which was not pleasant, at all. But I'll tell you this, and I can say that because Teri's not here. But I love my wife and I love her family, but that just didn't work for me. But when a person becomes homeless, a lot of people think it's just a mental disease. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a poor choice, and sometimes it's just things that just happen that people have no control over. But we try to help people to get back on their feet. We don't ask people to leave. In fact, people that are standing there right now, some of them have stayed with us for 12 weeks since we've been there. Just a few, just a handful. But some people just don't like to get up. They don't want to make a bed. They don't want to take a shower. And so after a while, you know, if they have no goals, because they have to meet with Miss Sue as well, our caseworker, if they have no goals, then what are we trying to shoot for? You know, just because you get up and do your own mundane things every day doesn't mean that's up to snuff. You know, we want to help people get back up to where they need to be. And some people think that's kind of rude, but you know, my oldest brother was homeless as well, and he didn't like the rules. He didn't like what my dad told him, but so he determined to live under a bridge for a while, and that was his choice. But listen, homelessness is an issue here, and we want to help people to get back up where they need to be. And so we are in communication with several of the landlords in town to help find people places to stay. We are in contact with businesses in town to help these people find a job. And it's not just about finding a job and finding a home. We're helping them be structured as well. Any other questions? We have 3 people, and that doesn't count me and Teri. Our staff consists of Sue, our front office caseworker, and then our 2 part-time monitors. And we're in the process now of finding another part-time monitor and also a bookkeeper. So be in much prayer for those things because we need them. So I'm not good with finances. My wife is, and I'm having to do the finances this week as well. So it's not been pleasant.
Any other questions? Charles, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Charles, thank you for the program and the work that you do. It's great. Next meeting, again, District Governor's visit next week on September 21st. And the thought for the day from Tim Fargo. He's an American author and keynote speaker. Leadership is service, not a position. We're adjourned.